Today, we're going to dive into the story of Ruston-Bucyrus, a true empire of iron and cable whose massive machines literally carved out the modern world. But this isn't just a story about diggers and cranes. It's also about a top-secret weapon born in the darkest days of World War II that came directly from the mind of Winston Churchill himself. And that weapon's story involves this very defiant statement from Churchill: "I am responsible but impenitent." It's a fascinating clue to a wild and ultimately failed invention that really shows you the incredible scale and ambition of this company. So where did this all begin? Well, the story of Ruston-Bucyrus starts not with one company, but with a really powerful transatlantic alliance. This was a partnership that merged the absolute best of British engineering with American industrial might. Okay, so picture this. It's 1930, and two industrial titans join forces. From the UK, you had Ruston and Hornsby. They brought this deep engineering heritage, a huge factory, and they'd even pioneered Caterpillar track technology. Then, from the US, Bucyrus Erie came in with superior standardized designs and, this is key, the operational control over the whole new venture. And you know what? The results were immediate. By mixing that British manufacturing muscle with slick American designs, Ruston-Bucyrus created a range of unbelievably versatile, rope-operated machines. Models like the famous 19RB, known as the Universal Machine, could switch from a shovel to a crane to a dragline in no time, cementing the company's dominance for decades. But then, everything changed. The outbreak of World War II completely upended the company's trajectory. And it led them to one of the war's most ambitious and most secret projects, with the order coming straight from the Prime Minister. So let me introduce you to Cultivator number 6. Yeah, not the catchiest name. It was better known by its nickname, Nellie. And this was Churchill's brainchild. The goal? This was audacious. The goal was to build a machine so massive it could literally dig a trench across no man's land, giving cover to advancing soldiers. It was a World War I idea, really, but with the industrial power of World War II behind it. And when I say massive, I mean this thing was just immense. Nellie weighed a colossal 130 tons and was over 77 feet long. To put that in perspective for you, that's about the weight of 20 adult elephants. This wasn't just a machine, it was a mobile fortress of steel, designed to literally chew through the battlefield. But as brilliant as the idea was, it kind of stumbled in practice. Churchill pictured this burrowing behemoth, and to their credit, Ruston-Bucyrus delivered, packing it with two huge 600-horsepower diesel engines. But during field trials, well, it could dig, sure, but it struggled badly in hard ground or with any obstacles. The verdict was pretty clear. This was a weapon for the static trenches of the last war, not the fast-moving warfare of this one. Nellie was never used in combat. So Nellie became what historians call a white elephant, an incredible piece of engineering, but ultimately useless for its intended job. But here's the fascinating twist. Those powerful Paxman diesel engines built for Nellie, they were repurposed. They ended up being installed in over 2,500 landing craft, playing a vital, if totally unintended role in the D-Day invasions. All right, so after the war, the company really entered its golden age. The world was rebuilding, and Ruston-Bucyrus was in the perfect spot to supply all the heavy machinery that was needed for this global reconstruction. Their factory in Lincoln, England, basically became its own self-contained industrial city. It was what we call vertically integrated, meaning almost every single part was made right there, in-house. At its peak in the 1960s, it employed over 2,600 people, just pumping out these iron giants and exporting them all over the globe. And the undisputed champion of this era? Oh, that was the 22RB. It became their most popular machine ever. It was built on a standardized assembly line and, like the machines before it, was a super versatile universal excavator. But its real claim to fame was its legendary durability. These things were just built to last for decades, becoming the absolute backbone of countless construction and mining projects worldwide. But here's the paradox of it all. The very thing that made Ruston-Bucyrus so successful, their complete mastery of complex, durable, rope-operated machines, also made them fatally inflexible when a totally disruptive new technology showed up. At the heart of the company's fall was a fundamental clash of technologies. See, Ruston-Bucyrus had perfected the world of complex ropes, cables, and gears. Their machines were powerful, they were durable, but they were expensive to build. The revolution came in the form of hydraulics, a much simpler, more direct way of applying power that was cheaper to make, more precise, and a whole lot safer to operate. The sales figures, they tell the whole story. Ruston-Bucyrus's incredibly successful 19RB sold just over 5,400 units over its entire three-decade run. In stark contrast, its new British hydraulic competitor, the Hymac 580, sold over 10,000 units in just a fraction of that time. The market had clearly spoken. So you're probably asking, why couldn't they just adapt? Well, they were a victim of their own success. That massive Lincoln factory, all the specialized tools, the thousands of skilled workers, the whole system was geared for one specific type of manufacturing. This created a powerful industrial inertia. The cost and complexity of retooling everything for hydraulics was just too big of a mountain to climb. So the empire of iron and cable fell, but the story doesn't just end with a factory closing its doors. Instead, it leads to this surprising and really enduring legacy. The decline, when it came, was swift. The joint venture with Bucyrus ended in 1985, after 55 years. The workforce shrank dramatically, and by 1999, all heavy manufacturing in Lincoln had just stopped. The age of these iron giants was over. But here's the amazing part. The machines themselves refused to die. Today, the company lives on as RB Cranes. And get this, they hold all the original technical drawings. Because RB built their excavators to last practically forever, thousands of them are still operating out there right now all over the world. And RB Cranes is there to provide the parts and support to keep these old iron giants working decades after they were first built. The story of Ruston-Bucyrus is just a classic tale of a giant that couldn't adapt. They built a fortress, really, perfectly designed for one kind of war. But they were just too massive, too entrenched, to pivot when a new war began. It raises this fundamental question, one that applies to any industry. When the ground shifts right under your feet, can any giant, no matter how powerful, truly escape the pull of its own success?